Pleasant day to everyone. Our group is assigned to report about workplace communication and its forms. But to start with our report, we will first give you an energizer about our topic.
Okay, for our energizer, kindly read the question and give the answer once I call your name. So for the number one, let me call Valera Nika Joy.
Number one, facts provided or learn about something or someone. Information.
All right, let's reveal the answer. Correct. Number one is information. So for number two, let me call Bakatano.
A way in which participants in different locations are able to communicate with each other in sound and visually. Video conference.
Please reveal the answer. All right, correct. The answer for number two is video conference. Next, number three. Let me call Jasmine.
A way of two or more people communicate with each other by writing or constructing a message to their receiver. Written communication.
Please reveal the answer. Okay, so for the number three, the answer is written communication, correct? Next. So for the trivia in this topic, let me call Chris to read the trivia.
So, trivia. People who have a strong friendship possess the ability to communicate with one another through facial expressions.
Thank you. And let me call Antonio Completo for share his insights about this trivia.
You can share a short insight about the trivia. Kung based on experience na lang ganun. Thank you.
Um, um, hmm, to communication with another two physical expression to me is yung like smiling, scrolling to and rolling eyes and eye contact are few examples facial expression. Okay, thank you for your insights and share your ideas. So thank you for participating our icebreaker. So now let's move on to our proper discussion.
So, as we move on the discussion proper, let me introduce myself first. I am Mark Christian Lucas, together with my partner, James Cosilio. So, our topic is all about workplace communication and its forms. So, the question is, what is workplace communication? So, ano nga ba ito and ano ba yung purpose dito, di ba? So, first, let's define muna yung workplace. So, it is says on the screen that the workplace is all about a person's place of employment. So this is where employees go and do their jobs. So it can be a building or a room, basically an office or a factory where work is done or performed. So next, let me define the communication. Communication is defined as a type of exchanging or sharing ideas or information between two parties or more. Basically, pwede sa isang tao or sa isang grupo. So, technically speaking, communication is a process where the main aim is to pass or send and receive a data or information from one person to another. So, of course, it is very usual in our daily lives as we communicate and interact with other people in school or in our house and etc. So, ayan, what is workplace communication? So, communication in the workplace is defined as the dissemination of information within an organization between individuals or groups. It might consist of emails, text, voicemails, notes, and etc. So, mapaparating natin yung message natin sa ibang organization, business organization through voicemails or iba-ibang type ng way kung paano natin ito may papadala sa kanila. So, in the workplace or in the office, communication is frequently very formal when interacting with coworkers and clients. So, there are some jobs na nare-require talaga na ang isang employee nila is magsalita or mag-speak ng formal, communicating to their coworkers and clients. So, you must be direct and respectful then. Also, it is critical to adopt the appropriate kind of communication for the environment in which you operate. So, dapat pipiliin din natin yung tamang kind ng communication once we interact with other people. Dapat maging sure din tayo or let's think critical kung dapat ba naging formal tayo or kahit casual speaking lang.
Moving on to the next topic is about the advantages and disadvantages of workplace communication. First, I will discuss about the advantages of workplace communication. Number one, workplace communication improves workers' productivity. When good communication skills are present in a company, workers tend to keep one another accountable, which also means that with good communication skills and with cooperation and collaboration of each and every one of the workers in the workplace, they would be able to finish their job faster and more accurately, and most likely mistakes, misunderstandings, and miscommunications are most likely not to happen because of good workplace communication. Because effective communication in the workplace provide clear instructions, workers know exactly what is expected from each of them. This helps improve accountability, which in turn increases productivity. For the next one, workplace communication can increase employee job satisfaction, which means that communication in the workplace is important because it boosts employees' morale, engagement, productivity, and satisfaction. Communication is also key for better collaboration and cooperation. And we all know that with cooperation and collaboration, the the workload would be finished easier, and mistakes are mistakes most likely don't happen because we all share our ideas to each and every one of us, and we can we can tell our coworkers if if they would have a mistake in something, and it helps each and every one of us to have uh increase our job satisfaction because we would be able to finish our work more accurately, properly, and faster than usual. Ultimately, effective workplace communication helps drive better results for individuals, teams, and organizations, which means that if we have a good workplace communication, the overall work in the workplace would be easier, and improvements will be seen. And for the last one, workplace communication can also have a positive effect on absenteeism and turnover rates. It means that communication flow is very important to workers. Employees need to feel secure that they are receiving truthful and updated information from superiors. we need to have a good workplace communication because we also need to build trust in our company for us to be able to run this and to be able to do our jobs properly. Moving on to the next topic is disadvantages of workplace communication. Number one would be workplace communication can lead to the snowball effect in workers' action. A snowball effect is a process that starts from an initial state of small significance and builds upon itself, becoming larger and perhaps potentially dangerous and disastrous. Though it might be beneficial for some instance, but it can also lead to something dangerous and chaos may occur. For example, many times when employees quit, there is a snowball effect, where additional employees also quit. This usually occurs due to employees who communicate freely with each other over workplace concerns. This may happen if problems occur in a company and some some of the workers tend to quit and gossips may occur and that would be the start of the snowball effect and some workers will start to think that they should also quit the job. The next one is workplace communication can lead to worker burnout or information overload. Too much information shared in the workplace is too bad because we won't be able to process it all in an instant. And also, there are irrelevant information exchanged at work. Like gossips are a good example, romance, about some topics like personal things, about what they like, and also a lack of alignment between all the discussions going on at the same time in the workplace. And lastly, it's not enough time given to the employees to process the information they receive because not everyone has the same way to process informations. Some may be able to process it in an instant and but some won't be able to do it because we all have different minds. And lastly is good communication in the workplace ensures employees have the information they need to perform well, builds a positive work environment, and eliminates inefficiencies. Effective communication should accurately convey information while maintaining or improving human relationships.
Reminders about workplace communication. So first, communication in the workplace is usually quite formal. So sometimes i-require tayo ng workplace natin or uh, ng environment natin na mag-formal or kahit sa pagsasalita natin and paano tayo mag-act. You need to be clear and respectful when you're dealing with your colleagues and customers. And it's important to use the right kind of communication for the place where you are working. So, itong pagiging respectful natin is magpe-payback din sa atin kasi when we respect our colleagues and customers, they will respect you too, di ba? So, mas magiging maganda experience natin sa ating work or sa ating environment. There are lots of different kinds of workplaces and some require you to be very formal and use professional languages. But other workplaces are more relaxed. You need to tailor your communication to suit where you are. So, maging analyze and maging critical thinkers tayo to analyze the situation. There are few key types of workplace communication. At work, you'll communicate verbally in person and on the phone or via Zoom. So be clear and try not to raffle. Listen as much as you talk and pay attention to the person you're speaking to so you can check if you've gotten the message across.
The next topic to be discussed is the channels or methods of the communication in a workplace. A channel is a passageway. It means of access for a thing, a communication, or an idea. Think of a channel as a sort of a tunnel or a funnel that moves something directly through. To add more, the channel or medium used to communicate a message affects how the audience will receive the message. Communication channels can refer to the methods we use to communicate as well as the specific tools we use in communication process. According to the Health Foundation 2017, there are different or some channels where we can obtain information in a workplace. Number one would be, we all know that this is group meetings, workshops, and conferences. Most likely communication here happens a lot, surely a lot. The next one is, we also know this, it's webinars. Communication occurs here a lot too. Mm, Next one will be mobile technology. Example are SMS and mobile applications. The next one is websites. Yes, we could communicate using websites um through the use of technology. Yes, websites are example of that. Written messages and are example of communication. The next one is film and animation. We could also gain information and we can also communicate using films and animation. The next one is media coverage, professional and consumer media. Media coverage is giving us a lot of information, which is also a way to communicate with each of us. And the next one is, we all know this. It's social media. We all communicate nowadays using social media. The next one is it's the old fashioned way. It's oh no, I won't call it old fashioned way, but it's also used in courting at the old times. It's letters and email. We also use this as a written communication or a message for someone. To add more, some other sources are leaflets, brochures, and flyers, and also our merchandise or display materials such as posters, charts, infographics, and etc. Also, there are blogs that helps us communicate, advertisements, and lastly, our newspapers. Moving on to the next topic, the principles of communication in the workplace. First is efficiency and promptness. Efficiency is the ability to do things well, successfully, and without waste, while promptness is the quality of doing something quickly and without delay or at the arranged time. It is important to have efficiency and promptness in communication in the workplace for us to be able to do things properly and accordingly without making a lot of mistakes and doing it more accurately. The next one is truth and validity. Truth is the property of being in accord with fact or reality, which means it's true. The next is validity. It is the quality of being based on truth or reason or being able to be accepted. It is also truth and validity are important in communication in the workplace because we also need to learn that some things are impossible and we wouldn't be able to pull it off even if we try it. So why would we take risk of if we know that it won't work out? That's the important of knowing the truth and validity. The next one is reliability and confidentiality. Reliability is the quality of being trustworthy or of performing consistently well, while confidentiality means the state of keeping or being kept secret or private. And now, in a workplace, there is always confidentiality because it might be used against the company. So there should always be confidentiality and reliability because trust is I think is the most important thing in a workplace because it's the foundation that keeps the company go further and further. The last one is conciseness and clarity. Conciseness is communicating complete information about a topic or idea in a few words. It means like stating some words, but it has complete meaning and sense. While clarity is the quality or condition of being clear or easy to understand, it is very important in a workplace communication because misunderstandings and miscommunications most likely occur without conciseness and clarity. We should all remember that channels of communication help facilitate the flow of information throughout a company. Information that's regularly shared with the company may include company-wide policies and events, employee benefits information. And we should also always remember the importance of the principles of communication in a workplace because this enables us to know how important it is to have this in a workplace.
So, these are the materials used in workplace communication. So, una dito is yung minutes of meeting. Minutes of meeting are the written documentation used in informing employees, both attendees and non-attendees, on what is being discussed during a meeting. So, usually it includes the participant's name. Number two is the agenda, decisions made by the participants, follow-up actions committed to by the participants, and any other discussions worthy of documentation. So this minutes of meeting is being distributed to attendees and non-attendings. So they have a copy of what is being discussed and they have the chance to analyze and more understand the discussion during their meeting. So nagbe-benefit din ito sa mga non-attendees since they not able to make to the meeting, they have a clear copy of what is being discussed in their meeting that they've missed. Next is memorandum. So, it is used for communication policies, procedure, and other related official businesses within an organization. So, it is composed of the following. Number 1, the header. Number 2, date. 3 is the subject line. And 4 is the message. So, sa memorandum, ito yung part na nai-inform yung mga employees about sa iba't ibang activities na related sa kanilang business or sometimes it is not business related or it is an activity where they have to attend or discuss. Next is letters. These are the brief messages that are usually sent outside the organization. So the parts of these letters are the return address, date line, inside address, salutation, body, complimentary, and signature line. So basically itong letters they use it to communicate with other business organizations to have their sites or have their ideas and information to send their other business organization. So nagkakaroon sila ng communication in if they have not have a meeting face to face, they send letters sometimes in physical letters or emails. Then the last one is the reports. So usually composed of evaluation of assessment of an issue or a set of circumstances of operation relevant to the organization. So itong reports sometimes mapapasok ito sa mga meetings and discussion. So yung purposes nito is the examine possible solutions to a problem, situation, or issue. Apply business and management theories to practical situations. Demonstrate analytical reasoning and evaluation skills in formulating possible solutions and outcomes. Identify conclusions to a problem or an issue. Provide recommendation for future actions. Demonstrate concise and clear communication skills. So, elements of these reports is the title, the summary, abstract, introduction, procedure, findings, conclusion, recommendations, and bibliography.
For our last topic, it is the types of communication in a workplace. We will start with verbal communication. It is the use of voice and words facilitates verbal communication. Words, sound, languages, and the actual act of speaking are typically the main components of verbal communication. Conversation with others informally account for most of verbal communication. We could simply understand that verbal communication occurs when with the use of voice and words that uh, comes out from our mouth. And I would like to add more about verbal communication. There are four types of verbal communication. First is intrapersonal communication. Interpersonal communication is the process by which an individual communicates within themselves, acting as both sender and receiver of messages, and encompasses the use of unspoken words to consciously engage in self talk and inner speech. Interpersonal communication is like you having you exactly having talk with yourself. It's like it's like having realizations or reflecting upon things you do. Most likely it happens do something when you do something or emotions are all over the all over the place and you feel like you need to reset and cope with problems. And interpersonal communication also helps us to motivate ourselves. The next one is interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication is an exchange of information between two or more people. It is also an area of research that seeks to understand how humans use verbal and nonverbal cues to accomplish several personal and relational goals. Compared to intrapersonal communication, interpersonal communication happens with someone you talk to someone and you communicate with them. uh it it can't happen with only just one person. And also interpersonal communication also happens with just verbal cues like raising your eyebrows when it can also mean as a communication. The next one is the small group communication. It is a communication in a small group consists of three or more people who share a common goal and communicate collectively to achieve it. During small group communication, interdependent participants analyze data, evaluate the nature of the problem, decide and provide a possible solution or procedure. Small group communications is like in a company we all have I'll give in a classroom there will always be a small group, and this is an example of that. It consists of three or more people which has they have a lot of in common. That's why they talk to a lot and communicate. It is consists of only three or more people. Then moving on to the last one is public communication. Public communication happens when a person or a group of people gather and start sharing information to an audience or give presentation on certain topics to deliver a message. Public communication is like the large version of small group communication because it now involves a lot more people. It small group communication only is an example of small group of people talking to each other and communicating, while public communication has a large crowd and audience. It's like the president is talking to the audience. It's a an example of public communication. The next one is body language. Your intentions and sentiments can be conveyed through body language, which consists of a variety of nonverbal communication techniques in addition to postures, gestures, and other movement-based messages. Body language also includes facial emotions. Um, I got it wrong a while ago that yung pag-raise ng eyebrows when you talk to someone is a verbal ay is a is a gesture which is included in body language. It's communicating without the use of words but but more on actions. While the next one is phone communication. Any oral transfer made across a wire, cable, or other similar connection between the point of origin and the point of reception is referred to as a telephonic communication. This term includes any electronic transfer. Um, while in phone communication, it will only happen through the use of technology. It's not face to face or on the spot communicating. It requires to have a technology such as a phone. And lastly is written communication. It is any messages that employs written words is considered a written communication, which is the most prevalent type of corporate communication. Um, the example of written communication are, you know, emails and letters. It's the best example for written communication, and it is also widely used. It is also widely used, not just verbal communication. Moving on, moving on is internal communication. This refers to the exchange of communication within the organization. It means inside it only happens inside the organization. It's like everyone in the organization knows this, and it happens inside. While external communication, this refers to the exchange of communication from the organization to the outside world. It can be formal and informal. In this case now in this case naman is the communication from internal are given through everyone from outside the organization. There are also types of internal communication. The first one is vertical. It is communication between employees with different hierarchical positions. And it also has two types. The downward, which is from employees of higher positions going to employers with lower positions. An example of this is a boss giving a task to a newly hired employee. And the next one is upward, which is from employees of lower positions going to employees with higher positions. And an example of this is a response of the newly recruited employee to the boss that has given him or her a task. The last one is horizontal, which is communication between individuals having the same hierarchical positions. The example of this are like managers in the company talking to each others, or newly hired employees talking to each other is an example of horizontal. And I think that would be all. Thank you, and we hope you've learned a lot from our report.